I'm back. It's the same day. It's the same day, just a little while later. And just dealing with a bit of a pressure situation here. And so I kind of rushed to the very end of that as I was talking about the Dream Temple. I wanted to come back because I didn't like that feeling of being rushed. I also didn't want to stop it because the moment you stop it, you create two different videos. And it's like, I don't know. I wanted to finish that thought. So even though it was rushed, finished it, that's fine. But I wanted to go back to it and just be at ease with it, because it's another step, and it's another step in this journey. It's another evolutionary step to talk about, what I'm going to create, and so the Dream Temple is a thing that's very real for me. And I think in the next couple of days I'm going to talk about being a dream hunter as well, because dream farming is something that we all can do. Everyone can be a dream farmer. We can all be cultivators together. And that is going to be one definite mode of what I want to have happen in the Dream Temple, right? Sounds like some kind of crazy cult, the Dream Temple, but it's as simple as loving, healing, evolving, dreaming. It's as simple as being in love with yourself, being in love with your life, being in love with the people around you, being in love with the world. Whatever's in the way of that, let's heal it. It could be called the Healing Temple. It's the loving, healing, evolving, dreaming temple, if you will. But dreaming is the ultimate gift that Spirit has given us. We are in Spirit's dream. So ultimately, that is what it is. And that's why it must be its name, the Dream Temple. Because it's a place where we go to cultivate our dreams in the presence of Spirit. Yes, that's the Dream Temple. So, dream farming, that's mostly what I talk about here, because talking to you, as I say, coming at it with, as I use the Carlos Castaneda language, my first attention, which is being drawn by my second attention, which is to say, first attention, analysis, very limited, right? Second attention being when you stop responding to the history process of your conditioning, good, bad, or ugly, whatever it might be, right? And then you begin creating. That's like second attention, when you see the world in a different way and you can experience the world in a different way. You can only come to it through discipline. And once it begins yielding, the world is transformed. And as you proceed in it, you realize there's another element, which is what brings it all together, which is awareness of dying. Because death, that mystery threshold, is the one for sure encounter that our perceptions have with the Spirit. It's the one. And we usually only get it at the end of our lives. So we should have it in every moment with us, because that's Spirit's precious gift to us, is to remind us that this is the moment that we have. Without that awareness of death, we cannot aspire to the third attention, which is that ecstasy that we feel, that grace that we feel when we are aware that Spirit is with us all the time. And all we got to do is reach out in order to feel held. When I sing about it, I often sing about like a tree growing, you know what I mean? Like in my life, you put the seed in the dark earth, it's in the darkness, and those roots need to hold on to the earth, the dark, rich earth, but it's darkness, right? And yet somewhere inside the seed, there's this force, this aliveness. Once those roots have got a hold of the dark earth, there's a reaching. Forever, that seed is a reaching thing, reaching up into the sky, And yet when you reach for the sky, you don't ever take hold of the sun. You feel its warmth, because it's the sun that takes hold of you. You want to reach for the sky, you got to give yourself to the wind, which is the thing of this earth. But when you're in that process of raising up, of reaching, you can feel that the sunlight has taken hold of you. And that is a metaphor picture of what I'm talking about here, We can never take hold of Spirit, but when we reach, Spirit can take hold of us. And then it's a question of how fluid our stoke is, how harmonious our balance is, how disciplined our being in the moment is. And then that is how far we can go. So, dream farming is cultivation. And works well with my, seed reaching to the sky metaphor there, right? We can all do dream farming. We can all be cultivating our dreams. And that is a main mode for me because it's the mode I practice when I'm with clients in the field, is that. The other side, the dream hunting, is when I'm at my edge, like when I'm with a client, I'm meeting them where they're at, encouraging them to get to their place of peace, their place of being loving, their place of hopefully kindling the light of insight inside them, the flame of some kind of loving delight, and where we can go with that, right? That is careful, loving, caring cultivation. Dream hunting is a bit different. That is, I'm at my own edge. That's why I cannot take that into the field. I have played music with clients sometimes, and it's always interesting to share my own creative edge, because it's still loving, but it's poetic and it's creative, it's intense, and so I can give it in little bits. You know what I mean? It always has a transformative effect, and a good one. But got to be careful, because when you're dealing with people with severe and persistent mental illness, very slow, very careful, very gentle is the important textures to help them come to their own home ground inside, right? But again, on the other side of it, when I'm dream hunting, I am literally at my edge, It is my stoke. It's like, for the surfer, that's like being out there in their board in the ocean. There comes the wave. They get on the board. It's that sacred balance they find inside themselves, and they ride that wave, that stoke. Every music groove is that for me. Play a little bit, the tone turns me on, that vibration, and then it's all about the sacred balance I can find inside myself, and how profoundly that energy washes through me in tone, in chord, rhythm, and melody, in the beautiful poetry, And then we as a group do it together. And then, all my friends are also dream hunters in that moment, and they're in their own zone that we are sharing, as are the people who listen, if sometimes people come and listen, right? Dream hunting is when you're at the edge of yourself. You need to always have something where you are pursuing your living edge. You have to. If you want spirit to come to you, you need to reach. And reaching means reaching outside of the predictable, or what you think you know, or what's in your head, or what's in your history. You need to be reaching. And that reaching is maybe harder to quantify than I thought, because it's like my music is my reaching. That's when I'm dream hunting, because that is when I discover, like when I'm healing, which is my dream farming, right? My healing journey. I'm healing at that moment, Then I go to music, and I'm taking my healed presence, and I'm discovering what has been loosened, released, and relaxed in me. I mean, for a couple of years now, it's all been new ground. Every time we hit music, it's new ground. It's new. That's why I'm very improvisational in my music, because it's like the sounds are similar. I'm still the same person. You know what I mean? And yet I'm discovering parts of myself that have been blunted and broken and brutalized from a very early age in me. So I have no history process. I can say, well, I'm trying to achieve this. No. I'm stepping outside of my history process to discover dimensions of my being that I've never been able to. That's what I mean. Discovery. I also call it the new ground, or the undiscovered country. That's, of course, Shakespeare. He's talking about death being the undiscovered country. And, of course, that fits perfectly in my own poetic journey, because every living moment is opened when we are aware that we're going to die. And then it is new. And every living moment is the undiscovered country. And you can only be a dream hunter in the undiscovered country, if you're following my metaphor, right? So when I talk about Dream Temple, it's going to have both, for me, both dimensions, Like I want it to be a place where anyone can come. Anyone is welcome, because we can all be cultivators of our own joy energy. Some people who have a striving inside of them, a yearning, an aching, a longing, that also, they are perhaps the potential dream hunters. And I want to create a place where I can help people cultivate that. Be a dream hunter. Yes, be a dream farmer. Heal the wounds. Be loving to the people around you. Cultivate. Cultivate with the seasons. Slow and steady. Yes. At the same time, I think if you get into that process, you're going to find at some point delight sparks. That flame kindles and comes to life inside of you. And at that point, there's something there that you need to discover. That's the dream hunting right there. When you find that stoke, it starts to lighten up. What is it? Let's find what that is. And then you can get into it and find yours. I can tell you what mine is. I can tell you all about my stoke, Dream hunting is what I'm calling it, because dream hunting is a way to talk about it in sort of an abstract dream vision way. What it is it's as open as there are individuals who seek to feel the stoke and let it light them up. Let that fire of delight and joy and ecstasy kindle up them, Flame is a kind of liquidness as well, Let the liquid flame melt you inside, melt you into flow state. And in flow state, it's not indulgence. You have to be your very best, actually. You need to be disciplined. You can't listen to your mind. You can only be loving and disciplined and present completely. Only then will spirit yield its dreams and share them with you. At the edge of your being, you can always be cultivating your healing. Spirit loves it when you're loving, right? But when you are so hungry to know spirit that you need to get to the edge of yourself and beyond and reach into the sky itself, out of the darkness of the soil that you are cultivated in. This is dream hunting, whatever it might be for you, whatever it might be for you. And that is what the dream temple is going to be, a place to celebrate dreaming, to celebrate union with spirit, a celebration of whatever it is individuals bring with them. There. That's my brief reprise of the Dream Temple, because I was a bit rushed there in the last one for reasons that I won't disclose, except there was a bit of a pressure situation going on here, and I dealt with that. So, dream alive. Live the dream of your loving being. And live the life of your loving dreaming. And on that note, I will see you next time. So, in this one, I've talked a little bit more. When I'm talking about reaching, I think I've really put reaching into a better context, Maybe I'll just say a little bit about that before I leave. In the metaphor of I talk about the seed being in the darkness, Darkness, I think, is a dark journey we all got to take, And so, again, the dark journey is like coming to grips with all of this conditioning that's inside of us, the trauma-induced conditioning, right? It's a bit, it's troubling, It's not easy, and yet that's where our roots are, right? I mean, I'm using a metaphor again: the seed, the roots. Roots need the darkness. They need the wet darkness to get a hold on, But then only somewhere in that process, that aliveness pushes you up into the light, And that's something that is unique to every person, It's unique to every person. And for me, dream hunting is like that, reaching up into the sky, Whereas the farming is like, cultivating yourself, bearing the fruit, if you will, right? it's just a metaphor in the end of the day. I'm trying to point to something, you know what I mean? Because it's, when I say the word roots, you know, I mean our connection to the earth, our connection to each other, our organic tap to the earth of our physical beings, you know? Because yes, we aren't our bodies and we aren't this earth, but we are and we aren't, right? That's our paradox, is that like we are more present in our living process when we're aware that we are luminous beings, that we're energy beings. We are flow state that for a moment is embodied in this life presence. And it's that which is the liberation. And it's that which I want to create a space in our blighted society to give to people. And that's the dream temple. So, will I be able to make that happen? We're going to find out, but I'm just telling you now, this is where you heard it first. The dream temple. Let's see what happens. And until then, I'll be back. I'll be talking about more things. You know, this is my daily discipline. I will return. So until then, be well and keep reaching.